Day 6 of training camp practice for the San Francisco 49ers. A number of starters out, which means it's time for the depth to step up. Do the 49ers have enough depth? Wide receiver, cornerback, and a gem of a running back rookie that could make an impact real soon. On today's Locked On 49ers.
You are Locked On 49ers, your daily San Francisco 49ers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On 49ers. Brian Peacock and Eric Crocker at BD Peacock at Coach Crocky. Thanks everybody for making us your first listen on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Love and appreciate all the everydayers out there and new listeners. Welcome. Please subscribe on YouTube or anywhere you are listening to this podcast, and hit us up. Drop a comment on YouTube. Hit us up on Twitter. Let us know if there's something you want us to get into. We're going to dip a little bit into the mailbag here, as it were, on today's episode about the 49ers wide receivers and a number of players not in camp. And I think that's kind of what leads the story today. Day 2 of padded practice. There was a big, long practice. Croc had his firsthand report, and we're going to kind of have some other comments from Croc about some players that he saw yesterday that we're going to bring up on today's show, namely rookie running back Jauan Jennings. But first, who was not at practice for the San Francisco 49ers, and some of them we already knew about, and then some rest days, and it sounds like Mykel Williams, the rookie first rounder, he's done a lot for the 49ers in practice and has been pretty much full go for the whole thing from the spring. He did not practice, and the team is calling it a minor ankle injury. And so that's not, great, but minor, not practicing. Then there's an off day. And so hopefully that means that, he'll be good to go after a couple of days off when the team reconvenes on Thursday, I guess it is, would be the next practice after an off day. Deommodore Lenoir, starting cornerback, not practicing. Rookie running back Jauan Jennings, not practicing. It was not clear, according to Nick Wagner of ESPN. I'm looking at his report right now. There was no official injury designation for those two guys. Ricky Pearsall as well. After 2 days of camp, he had a kind of a ramp up day, and then the first day of padded practice, which was a long practice, and then now getting a couple of days off here, going forward with that hamstring, which was all scheduled and planned stuff. Jacob Cowling has a hamstring, didn't practice. Renardo Green's hamstring, still not practicing, and Jauan Jennings still has his calf injury. Also was not out there for the San Francisco 49ers, which kind of leads into, if we want to talk about the wide receiver conversation, Croc, according to Matt Barrows, the guys that really led the way for the 49ers was rookie fourth rounder Jordan Watkins, and a veteran signee that we've really not mentioned hardly at all in this podcast is Russell Gage, was a kind of the number 2 with Jordan Watkins at practice on, I don't even know what date it is, on Wednesday, right? No, Tuesday. What is today? It's Tuesday, right? As we record this? Tuesday. Okay. I'm out of it. Tuesday practice, Russell Gage and Jordan Watkins. We've got some comments and some quotes from the coaching staff about some other things with the wide receivers, but it really leads me to somebody dropped us a mailbag question, essentially. And I want you to put it out there and read the question. And I think we can answer it. And I think it's a good question. And I appreciate the way it's worded as well.
It's worded with someone being very straightforward with the situation. But shout out to my guy Jasper. And he's always willing to talk receivers with the 49ers. And we go way back. I'd say, 2018, 19, talking receivers with the 49ers and him wanting a specific type of receiver, a T. Higgins, and the 49ers not getting those kind of guys. But he texted me today and said, and I quote, "When you going to hop on the podcast and discuss the Niners' god-awful receiver situation?" Then he followed up with, "I hope you are bracing the realistic fans." I don't think that Jasper's a fan of the current 49ers receiver situation. And when you think about just going back a year, all right, let's July 29th, 2024. How did you feel about the 49 receiver group going in training camp? You had Deebo Samuel, and everybody's saying he's the best shape of his life right now. You did have the Aiyuk holdout, but you were hopeful that it was going to get done, and eventually he's on the field. And you have Jauan Jennings, who had a good camp. This is not that, where you just have 3 studs on the field all like you know who they are, you know how they're gonna play. Uh, uh, Aiyuk coming off an All-Pro season, Debo, former All-Pro, who we were still high on with his ability. And shoot, I remember going back to training camp last year, he was catching go balls and all type of things. So you were excited about Debo and what he was giving you. And then you fast forward to today where Russell Gage and what a 5th or 6th round receiver Watkins is kind of
Fourth round,
leading the team right
late fourth round pick. Don't sell
now. Late 4th
Watkins.
round.
Late fourth rounder.
Right. There we go. I was way off. Late 4th round receiver Watkins is leading your squad out there. It is a god awful kind of situation if we want to be really realistic, and then you're hoping that guys take that next step. Jauan Jennings, can you continue to be what you were last year? Ricky Pearsall, can you stay healthy and take that year 2 leap that we've seen some of the other 49er receivers take? But overall, I gotta agree with my guy Jasper. I'm not as optimistic with the receiver group as I've been in years past, and this is kind of a show and prove type of group. You hope that a lot of these guys stay healthy.
Yeah, there's a lot of hoping involved, and you hope that in November we're talking about Brandon Aiyuk leading the group with Jauan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall, and that I think on paper coming into the year, that's the 1, 2, 3, and then you have other depth and some veterans and some young players competing for spots behind that. I'm totally okay with that, but when you have one of those guys out completely in Brandon Aiyuk right now, more on him in a second. Jauan Jennings now has the calf injury, and then Ricky Pearsall, who was a first round pick, and you expect a lot from him, and showed some flashes last year. Still mostly an unknown, and obviously having a little bit of a tough time being full go and being on the field, even though it looks like he's past his hamstring injury, and he might actually not have any more scheduled days off potentially after this day off he had on Tuesday. So you hope that's the case for him. And then you start to look at, okay, well, could it actually be that potentially Jordan Watkins, 4th round rookie, and 7th round rookie Junior Bergen, and basically journeyman veterans now in because the best veteran the 49ers brought in, Demarcus Robinson, probably going to be suspended for 3 games, right? So you got Russell Gage and Isaiah Hodgins would be the next up. You've got undrafted rookie Isaiah Nair. Tariq Owens is in the building. Equinemius St. Brown is around as well. There's a lot of names and some bodies there, but I can understand why Jasper would say what he said and want to take a realistic approach to not being overly excited about what the wide receiver group is going to give the 49ers, because in many cases, at best, you can expect that one of the top 3 guys is going to be out at every point of the season for the 49ers. It's very unlikely that they're going to be able to have, okay, well, now Aiyuk's back and he's 100% of what he used to be. And Jauan Jennings is the same guy he was last year. And Ricky Pearsall, it looks like a first-round player. And then you got Demarcus Robinson and Jacob Cowing and Jordan Watkins backing him up. And Junior Bergen's a phenomenal return man, right? Like that is a rose-colored look at what to expect from the 49ers group. You should expect some injuries, and you should expect some guys to be down. Some of the guys are going to develop. Some of the guys are not going to develop. Is that going to be Ricky Pearsall? Is it going to be Jacob Cowing? Is it going to be Jordan Watkins? It's all really unknown. So I think the realistic look at the 49ers wide receiver group is you have to hope you're not leaning on that group to go win you games, even though it could in some ways turn out to be a really solid group and really good. But man, it's very much a sliding scale because we don't know what Ricky Pearsall is. And we definitely don't know what the guys that were later round picks are going to be for the 49ers. And if Russell Gage is the next guy up, it's probably not a great group.
Probably not a great group. And you look at just, I just was like, oh, what do the Rams look like right now? And, even with them, Puka Nacua, they know they have their guy. They're very confident what he can do. He's a 1,000-yard receiver. And then you have Devontae Adams. And even if he's not like peak Devontae Adams, you still know he's going to be good. He's going to be productive. He's going to work well with Matthew Stafford, who Matthew Stafford got a little something going on right now.
He's always got something going on. His arm, his shoulder. He's like that old veteran.
It might be his back right now.
Is it his back?
He reminds me of the guy from Any Given Sunday. Was it Cap? Is that what they called him? Who was Jamie Foxx ultimately ended up replacing, but he had all these things going on, and the wife was like, "Stop acting like a girl. You need to just suck it up and play." He's like, "I need to retire. Like my body's breaking down." But Matthew Stafford, it seems like his body's kind of breaking down. Still hold him, on the pedestal just for kind of what he's capable of doing. I think Jimmy Garoppolo if Garoppolo had to start the season, wouldn't be like 100% surprised. So just kind of Rams fans, brace yourself for that.
Is it that extreme with what's going on with some of the injuries there? Because I did see Garoppolo drop a dime touchdown pass to I think it was Devontae Adams, and double move from Devontae Adams, maybe. I don't know. Some of those camp videos, you know, from people on the sideline, you can't really see what the whole route, the whole play is, but he was wide open by like 20 yards.
Well, I think Stafford is week to week right now, not day to day.
So he definitely won't play, and the Rams never play anybody in the preseason anyway. So he has over a month, 40 days, I think it is, to kick off for the 49ers. So yeah, about 40 days to get whatever it is right. I imagine Matthew Stafford's going to be out there.
Wait a minute. Look at their receivers with those guys, and then like Tutu Otwell. It's like, all right, you got some veterans. Tyler Higbee at tight end. You just feel comfortable with it. Then you look at the 49ers, like, let's go, George Kittle.
I mean, and they're going to run the ball. They're going to want to be balanced. We've talked about how Kittle needs to be the number one guy anyway, and run the passing game through him in a lot of ways. And can you limp through until you get Brandon Aiyuk back? And is Brandon Aiyuk, when he is back, the same guy? That's really the big question with the 49ers wide receiver group. And it kind of ends there. But I mean, could Pearsall be like a superstar all of a sudden, right? All of a sudden, we're a month into the season, we're like, dude, Ricky Pearsall is winning me in my fantasy league, gets open constantly, and has a good rapport with his quarterback. Like, that's not out of the realm of a possibility.
I can also see a scenario where a quarter or 2 quarters of the way through the season, a lot of people are complaining about maybe Brock Purdy not having as much help as some other quarterbacks around the league.
Yeah, absolutely. I could absolutely see that. So yeah, we're treading lightly here on the 49ers wide receiver position. And in days like this, you really see how it could go south quickly with just an injury or two, and a calf here, a hamstring there, and you are extremely thin at the position, and you're really not fielding an NFL caliber wide receiver room if that's the case. And obviously the 49ers don't want to be going into week 1 with what they had at practice on Tuesday. Next, let's talk running back Jauan Jennings, and kind of a similar conversation about the cornerback position. How much depth is there with the starting guys out on Tuesday as well? Next. Today's episode of Locked On 49ers brought to you by Yahoo Fantasy. Speaking about winning your fantasy league, I'm still drafting Ricky Pearsall. I got high hopes for him, and fantasy football is back, which means your group chat, no doubt, is starting to get fired up, getting your draft boards ready. Buckle up for a season filled with breakouts, busts, and all the overreactions we live for. It's all going down on Yahoo Fantasy this year. I'm playing Yahoo Fantasy. I'm sure Croc is. I've been playing Yahoo Fantasy for 20 stinking years and making my millionth league on Yahoo Fantasy. But if you're a first timer, sign up and have some fun and celebrate 28 years of fantasy greatness with Yahoo Fantasy. They're dropping 28 big new features over 28 days, giving you more ways to play, more ways to draft, and more ways to win. It all begins August 4th, so stay tuned and get started by creating or joining a Yahoo Fantasy Football League. And you don't even have to know anybody. You can just join a public league whenever you want. Just go to yahoofantasy.com/lockedonnfl. That's yahoofantasy.com/lockedonnfl. And let's make this fantasy season the best one yet. So a player that we haven't given a lot of pub to, and we really liked it to watch the rookies when it comes to training camp. That's the thing I get most excited about, right? Because it's the players you haven't really seen yet in the NFL. What are these guys going to be? You have the scouting report. You've seen what they look like in college. How does it translate to the NFL? And a guy like Jauan Jennings doesn't get fans super excited just because he's not, a height, weight, speed freak. And he wasn't he was a big-time college player at a big-time program at Oregon, but he wasn't like a 5-star that came in and was rushing for, 1,500 yards as a freshman or anything like that. But he's getting high praise and seemingly more and more praise, and hopefully there's no injury involved there. There wasn't a reason given why he wasn't at practice on Tuesday from what I've seen. But what did you see from Jauan Jennings at practice yesterday when you were there for the padded session? Because I've kind of been saying that I think he's the guy that's maybe best prepared to be the number 2 true running back behind Christian McCaffrey, with Garendo's role kind of remaining what it is with Christian McCaffrey as sort of a secondary piece, even a wide back gadget player, because he can do a lot out of the backfield as a receiver. And he's not had a history of carrying the load ever, even one start in his college career, right? And I think he's better suited to be the change of pace guy, in which case, if Christian McCaffrey would go down, I can see Jordan James being the kind of the number one.
I don't know if we said this on this podcast or brought this name up, but does he have a little bit of Kendall Hunter to his game?
Yeah, I think even more physically impressive than Kendall Hunter, because Kendall Hunter was like 5'7". I think Jordan James is around 5'9", even though he's not impressive and he's not big. But I know what you mean with the balance and the quicks, and like when the hole's there, he can hit it.
Yeah, good feet. And it was a guy who probably not going to be your 3-down lead back. But hey, man, I can come in here and Frank Gore, you need a rest for a little bit. You need me to kind of carry the rock. I can do that. He kind of reminds me of that when you're looking at him now. Again, while I was at practice yesterday, you saw him. You saw him getting reps. I also saw D Winters just that tee off on him. I mean, just folded him.
I didn't realize Jordan James was the recipient of one of those hits you're talking about from D Winters.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and it was one of those where he wasn't, he didn't wrap him up, take him to the ground, but he was just flying through him. Boop. I mean, just folded him, right? So a little light in the pockets right now, but and also the defensive line for the 49ers was doing a terrific job, like making things very difficult. A lot of those young rookies on James or whoever was that back. I mean, it was Christian McCaffrey back there, and there wasn't much room and space for him either. So it wasn't just a Jordan James issue, but watching him in one-on-ones, his just the quicks, the feet, his ability to win those type of matchups. And there were a couple of cutback opportunities you saw him take. Now, again, wasn't breaking off big runs, but things that probably would have went for, 6-7 yards, which in NFL standards, you'll take that. So you give me a few of those 6-7 yard type of carries, I think he's good for that right now. And if it's blocked up and you got big Trent Williams and a lot of these guys, I think it can look really good with him at running back. I liked him. But yeah, he did take that hit from D Winters.
Yeah, I mean, I just think I think it's especially with running backs, and it's part of like what's ingrained in my mind about what running backs are now in the NFL. And you just, if you've got vision and toughness and balance, like you can be a really good running back if you have a really good running game. And I just think that that's what Jordan James can be. I don't know if he's going to be a superstar runner. He just has a lot of the qualities that you need to be a good running back in the NFL. He might not be 6'2" with 4.4 flat speed or anything like that. But he's got a little bit of everything, which I like a lot in a running back, especially with you just keep going into the well on day 3 and drafting these guys that are NFL players. And I think he's an NFL back. And if he starts games in the NFL and performs well, I will not at all be even the slightest bit surprised. So I'm excited about Jordan James. I like hearing the reports because I think he's a complete back for the 49ers. And they need that behind Christian McCaffrey because of Christian McCaffrey's injury history. And because I don't think Garendo's necessarily that. Garendo's got his different strengths, which I think could really be utilized by the 49ers. But he's not RB1, I don't think, even if Christian McCaffrey goes down.
I think a lot of us kind of turned our nose up at the Detroit Lions taking Gibbs at pick 11 or 10 or wherever they picked him at. But I will say, just watching how he runs, if there's one thing the 49ers are kind of missing out, you have a terrific running back, Christian McCaffrey, one of the best in the league when healthy. But watching was it Montgomery and Gibbs, those guys, they balance each other out extremely well. And Gibbs, he put so much pressure on defenses because he is so fast. And I think the 49ers, even though you have Garendo who can hit it and pick up a lot of yards, it's not that same play-to-play pressure that you put on defense that a guy like Gibbs does. So, although I do really like James, I think he's what the 49ers get a lot of times. I believe he'll be that, at least as a rookie. Oh, he's a good football player. Is he a difference maker? I think that obviously that's yet to be seen, but I don't even know if he was quite that for Oregon.
So what I'm hearing from you is if Christian McCaffrey gets hurt, we don't have to worry about it because they basically have a David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs situation with Jordan James and Isaac Guerrero.
No, I did not say that. No.
That's what I heard. Let us know at BD Peacock, at Coach Crocky. Let me know what you heard from Croc just now about the 49ers. Depth at running back. I'm okay with the depth of running back. Corey Kiner as well. I think he's got an opportunity to make the squad as an undrafted rookie running back. Talking about contact balance, built a little thicker than Jordan James, and maybe not quite as quick. Cornerbacks. Deommodore Lenoir not out there. Getting a rest day. Renardo Green has a hamstring injury. So depth starts to get very thin. Let's talk about some of the depth at cornerback from the guy who knows cornerbacks the best, Mr. Eric Crocker. Next. This episode of Locked On 49ers is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy, and it's time to fuel up, turn it up. 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink minus the alcohol. So if you ever go out, that's like the new popular drink on the golf course is the transfusion. I kind of would prefer, I think, a 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. And I hit the wall sometimes when I'm playing golf, and I shouldn't. And I've been trying to walk the course as much as possible. So I'm talking 18 holes. I'm walking. I'm not riding in the cart. And a little energizing shot, like a 5 Hour Energy Transfusion, is sometimes just what I need. Dude, you know when I need it is when I go play slow pitch softball at night. Being a dad, getting up every morning, it's much different. It used to be a lot easier to get up and go play softball at 9 p.m., 10 p.m. at night. It's a little bit more difficult. So having that evening pick-me-up is actually a lifesaver a lot of times. And golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors, of course. So the grape, ginger, lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse, and it's a go-to without chasing down the bev cart. And you can stay focused without all the alcohol on your game with that 5 Hour Energy shot instead. So if you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that is the number 5hourenergy.com. You can use our promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. This offer only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on subscription orders. Whether you're meeting your friends, trying to get 18 holes in, trying to walk all 18, order transfusion flavored 5 Hour Energy shots today. All right, Croc. Deommodore Lenoir not at practice. Renardo Green not at practice. Upton Stout's been looking good as a rookie in that nickel role. So with Upton Stout, according to the beat writers that were there, and I'm looking at Matt Barrows, and I'm looking at Nick Wagner's reports. Shout out to Nick Wagner's been putting some really awesome reports out there post-practice. And the 49ers looked to Dallas Flowers and Darrell Luter to pick up the slack with Upton Stout with those starters on the outside gone. It was hit and miss, according to reports, with those guys. Darrell Luter, kind of the forgotten guy. Trey Brown is also in the mix. Obviously, there is a veteran that can work outside, can work inside. Dallas Flowers, though, is a name to watch. Someone who might have made the squad that we might not have put on our 53-man projection maybe a couple of weeks ago. Sounds like Dallas Flowers is having himself a camp, Croc.
Yeah, Dallas Flowers out there, and he's, heading into his fifth season in the NFL. The 49ers have a few guys like that, but the secondary kind of worries me, right? Like, there are certain positions where I'm like, 49ers will be all right. They'll figure it out at linebacker, even though it's like, not the most confident. You're going to go with the young guy, but they'll be cool there. The D-line. Yeah, you got some young guys, but it's all right. They're good with their, ability to stop the run. And then we'll build off the pass with that with guys like Huff. O-line. Oh, you got a lot of starters coming back. You feel good about that. Running back, you feel good. You may not have the Gibbs back there, but you got guys you like. There's question marks at the cornerback position. Because right now what you're looking at is Stout going to be the guy? And it looks like he potentially is. So healthy, all right, we're good. But man, if you're not healthy, this is not 2020 season after the Super Bowl where you had Emmanuel Mosley and Richard Sherman and Akella Witherspoon and Jason Verrett and Dante Johnson. Like, you just had all these guys that you were comfortable with if either one of them had to start. Not to say you may not be more worried with one out there than the other, but it was like, oh man, like, okay, whoever's out there, like they're good. Like we're good enough to win with these guys. I don't know, Dallas, Flowers out there, and some of these other names, like it would give me a little anxiety.
Yeah. I think it's a good way to put it. Like, what are you comfortable with? And if you're a 49ers fan and I told you, hey, week 3, wide receiver, the 2 starters are going to be Jordan Watkins and Russell Gage, and the starting outside corner is going to be Dallas Flowers and Darrell Luter or Trey Brown.
You would say it's a rebuilding season.
I think that 49ers fans would not be comfortable with that.
You would say that they are doing the trust the process. The 76ers?
For sure. Trust the process. Well, I mean, that's what Kyle Shanahan was talking about the other day at the opening of camp. He said, I want to get the quote right because I wrote it down. It was interesting. He was asked about the 49ers offseason. Part of it was at the press conference after the first practice or before the first camp practice. And then he had the TK show thing that they've been doing every year. He didn't say a lot on the TK show, but what he did say was talking about the 49ers offseason. He said it was about, quote, sustained success. And he did say that the Super Bowl window isn't over, but that it's a new window. So I think they know from top down, like this is Kyle Shanahan, this is John Lynch. They understand that there's a possibility that they might stumble a little bit, take a little step back, maybe a couple steps forward, but then a step back before they take another step forward. There is a little bit of a retooling that's happening this year, and Kyle Shanahan himself knows it. And when you hear him say that he hopes that maybe even up to 6 rookies could earn starting jobs on defense, I think it tells you that.
I think it tells you that he's playing for 2026. Now, Kyle Shanahan, he comes off to me as a very, very competitive person. So it's not like he's tanking the season or saying we're not going to be good. But right. I think he is clear with let's play to really be able to go for a run in 2026. Like this year, we'll see, like, hey, we could be good. 49ers, I had someone text me and they're like, hey, be real. How do you think about the 49ers this season? And I was like, dude, you got on paper the worst schedule in the league. Like literally the worst schedule. Like we got the easiest schedule, excuse me. So I feel confident that the 49ers have double-digit wins. I think Vegas has them at 10.5. So I take 12 right now. Like I feel confident the 49ers win that amount of games. How good will they be come postseason when now you have to play some other guys that may be just better built? And this is obviously not knowing how the rookies will play. But I tell you what, you win 12 games, 11, 12 games, you're going to feel a hell of a lot more comfortable with all those young guys who had to play next season. Like next season, let's go. Right? The second year from Michael Williams, the second year from Alfred Collins, the second year from CJ West, the second year from Nick Martin, D Winters going into another year of starting. Okay, a healthy offseason for a guy like Malik Mustafa, right? Stout second year, like from like in my head, like now, okay, you're gunning for some. Oh, you got an entire offseason of healthy Brandon Aiyuk. So I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but I think this team, the way it's kind of building and looking right now, they're going to be much better suited to really make a run next year if they get to play a lot of those young guys.
I think maybe the biggest, if you're being realistic and you're hoping the 49ers are really good and make a playoff run, it's probably because they took some lumps early in the season. They have the type of schedule that they could overcome some of those lumps that they take and still win enough games to become a team that is, okay, well, now we have a developed Michael Williams and we have a developed Alfred Collins in week 15. And Brandon Aiyuk is back, and he's got a couple of games under his belt now. And Ricky Pearsall has gotten through his, rookie mistakes from last year, not really having a full rookie season, and then part of this year. And his hamstring is good, and he's healthy, right? And you can really draw the picture of being a really strong team in December, whereas it gets a little bit more difficult to be like, okay, well, what exactly is it going to look like for the entirety of the season? You have a lot more competition than we've ever had for not only starting spots, but depth spots as well on the 49ers roster. And it's not to say that the 49ers can't win, and they are definitely going to be trying to win. And I think they still have a pretty good team top to bottom. There's just more question marks, more competition in this training camp and preseason, which makes it pretty fun to follow versus other seasons in the past where you really kind of knew what you were going to get. And I don't love the feeling right now of, and we kind of already knew, but it didn't really dawn on me until I'm kind of talking with you right now. It was like, oh man, okay, last season's all those injuries, injury-riddled season, that's over. You can start this season, we're fresh and everyone's going to be healthy. Well, you still have holdover injuries from last year. Like Brandon Aiyuk's still going to miss half the year, possibly, maybe even more, hopefully less. Malik Mustafa had the torn ACL last year. You weren't even thinking of that as being part of it last year. And now that's kind of a holdover from an injury late last year that is now going to affect you to start this year. So the injury bug from last year is still kind of on the 49ers. And if you start adding to it, that's when you get into big trouble with the depth, especially when we talk about wide receiver and corner.
Yeah. Now, the good thing is on top of all this, there's always free agency to kind of add that piece. So as you kind of get the feel of these younger guys and who can make more of an immediate impact next season, you can always go to the free agency, overpay a guy, but he's going to come in and be exactly what you need him to be. So the 49ers will always have that in their back pocket. And I think, again, when you have this influx of youthfulness on your roster, which your 49ers needed, this is one of the oldest rosters in the NFL. I think it's going to be really good for them, but you may not see the benefits until 2026.
I totally agree. And I also think that, a healthy Dre Greenlaw aside, which can you ever expect him to be that same guy that you had, in 2023? That's tough to replace. But I mean, it shouldn't be that difficult to replace Malik Collins and, late career Leonard Floyd and some of the guys that they lost. They should be able to pull that off. It's just, how does it look? How does it happen? How long does it take for the development? Because we know that can take a while for rookies. And even some rookies that become good, D Winters, we're talking about him. He's looking like he might take a big year 3 leap. But the first 2 years, if you said, hey, D Winters has to start every game, that might not have gone great for the 49ers, right? But it might go well in year 3. But it's not always right away for every player either. So I can't wait for preseason because we're going to learn a lot about what this team is going to start to look like early in the year. And you need some health from those starters on in the defensive secondary and at wide receiver due to some of the big injuries that already exist there. Thanks everybody for making us your first listen here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hit us up on Twitter in the YouTube comments. Let us know what you want us to get into. They've been leaking stuff about these rival uniforms, Croc. I don't know if you've seen this, but we've got some guesses. We've got some ideas of what might be coming with the new uniform drop. And they're waiting until late in August to drop these new uniforms on everybody. And there's a kicking competition and a whole lot more. Whatever's going on with 49ers, we've got it covered for you every day right here. Locked On 49ers.